Welcome, 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 world travelers. This is Judge Mentalist, your co-host on this wonderful journey of digital nomadery, skullduggery, and just some general shenanigans. We are here with another fine episode. This is episode number 51, which is really episode like 60-something if you add in all of those bonus episodes. But hey, who's counting? Not really us. At least we just don't know how to. Here's your hosts. Big Sexy.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening whenever this is hitting your ear holes. I hope that it is good. What's happening, man? What's going on?
Oh, just doing my thing, man. One of the big keys to life is to be water.
Bruce Lee said it best. Be like water. I know I'm not doing the Bruce Lee accent because be like water. Be fluid. Be
you
adaptable.
Gotta be fluid. You gotta go with the flow. This episode is airing at a time in which I should be waking up in Chicago, Illinois, packing a car to drive out to Nebraska with R.J., yet it's not happening. We had to cancel those shows, and
sometimes that happens. I mean, to be fair, sometimes that happens. It sucks when it happens. It always sucks when it happens.
And the odd thing is that I'm not completely disappointed about it, but there are elements of it that I am disappointed about. And, being like water, being fluid, being liquid, when something like that happens to somebody like me and somebody like RJ, we have so much stuff going on in our lives that sometimes it's a gift. Sometimes it's a gift, sometimes, because he's got the new magic shop. So this is supposed to happen during the dark week of Mystere. All of this was set into motion before he acquired and took over Zucchini's magic shop.
Zucchini's magic shop.
The oldest brick and mortar magic shop in California. This is not a paid endorsement. It is just us promoting a friend like we do.
Yeah. Some friends ain't got to pay us yet.
Yeah. And, the priority for him is certainly to spend time getting that, because they're building and renovating and putting a performance space in the theater. They're putting a theater in there, things like that. We were very, very happy to do the shows, but Saturday morning, which was the second, 10 days before the Chicago show, we get an email from the person that, the coordinator for the venue. And basically at that point in time, 4 tickets had sold to 2 shows.
For 400 tickets?
4.
For 4,000?
4. We wouldn't be canceling the show if either of those numbers were the case. And it was, the odd thing about it.
40 wasn't for no zeros. So no zeros whatsoever. Just 4.
Well, plenty of zeros. They were just all in front of the 4.
In front of the 4. Gotcha.
And the problem is, and detailed within this email, because it's, it's a team effort. When you're selling a show, it's a team effort. We do what we can to promote it. The venue does what they can to promote it. As somebody who promotes shows here locally, I know that some acts do a lot more than others to promote the shows that we have here. I take it on my shoulder to make it happen. But at the end of the day, it's everybody's job. And within this was reports of, I don't know what's going on. This organization reached out and said they were going to buy a bunch of tickets. This organization, it was all of and I get this all the time. And I understand how it goes running these shows. I've had shows where on a Thursday is the show. The Wednesday morning before, we're at like 72 tickets. And at showtime, we're at 120. So I know how last minute people are. And if anything, this is me ranting and getting on my soapbox to anybody out there, anywhere, who intends to support and attend anything that resembles local theater. I don't care if it's magic, if it's music, if it's comedy, if it's whatever, just
Improv,
general
right.
theater, any sort of event that somebody is putting on in your town and they're selling tickets. If you know that you're going to go, please, for the sake of everything that is allowing this stuff to continue to exist, buy the damn tickets
Early.
early.
Get them early. Show your
And please
support
spread the
early.
word. And again, I'm not talking about these shows specifically
Right.
in Chicago or Nebraska or, my shows in Elkton. I'm talking about everywhere.
Right.
Except maybe Vegas, because everything is last minute in Vegas and everything is
either
different
Vegas
culture,
or
different
New
scenario.
York or LA. Like anywhere where it's not local theater.
And
even
anything
in,
local and
Vegas,
small.
even in Vegas, if it's local theater,
right,
get your tickets early. And those who are in Vegas know what local theater is. If you're outside of Vegas, I'm talking about Vegas Little Theater, what used to be Cockroach Theater, which is Vegas Theater Company or something like that. There are several different theater companies in Vegas, and I know I'm missing Majestic Repertory, Majestic Theater. That's the third big local theater. Support those theaters, right? Support them, and the best way you can support them is by buying tickets. And the best way you can confirm that your show doesn't get canceled is buy your tickets early. Let them know you're coming. Because if you're like, oh, I'll wait till the last minute, that show might get canceled because then everybody was waiting till the last minute and they didn't think nobody was coming. And shows can't run on that.
Yeah, I mean, I had Chicago friends that reached out to me just this morning being like, hey, did your show get canceled? I'm like, yeah, nobody bought tickets. And obviously the story behind the story is individual that had planned on putting a group of people together and buy tickets, waited.
Right.
And then went to buy the tickets and saw that the show was canceled and was then reached out to me and was like, hey, what's the deal? To which I had to respond, it was you. Not you specifically,
not
but
specifically, because had they bought their pack of tickets and they were the only ones to buy the pack of tickets, it still probably would have been canceled.
I don't know a number because this person had talked to me maybe 2 weeks ago about, hey, I'm going to get a group together. It might be 8 or 10 people.
Right.
If it was 6 or 8 people, even, that triples the number of tickets that are sold. Right. I saw another post on Scoop Group where somebody had bought tickets, and this was after we had decided to cancel the shows, but apparently before the ticket link was taken down. Those are obviously going to get refunded, but I'm like, where were you a week ago?
Right.
Because
question.
Those 2 batches of people take us from 4 tickets sold to 12 and let's say probably close to 20. Still not great, but then we hustle and fill it out and make it happen.
Now, let me ask you this. It was you, RJ.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume they have a stage manager.
I don't know exactly what the setup is, but yeah.
Right. And maybe an usher, maybe a box office person. So definitely a tech person.
So probably a few more than that, because this is at the newer place, Sideshow Gelato. So part of it is this gelato place, and then they have a theater. So I don't really know logistically who does what and who.
But conceptually, you may have had, let's be very generous and say 10 people.
Fair, yeah.
That were working the event.
Mm-hmm.
And you sold 4 tickets.
Right.
And 4 is less than 10?
Hang on a second.
I think that's correct, right? I think if I'm going to count to 10, I'm going to say 4.
It's complicated.
Before.
Yeah. 4 is less than 10.
4 is less than 10. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. 4 is less than 10.
Best $2 that almost that like 200 people just spent in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Just say it.
yeah. If y'all don't know what's going on, but don't
Yeah.
do some research.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so I understand. I understand. I've been there with shows that had to get canceled because
Yeah. Look, it happens. And
it
guess what?
happens.
I don't have the reach, clearly an influence that I thought that I might have had in Chicago. Granted, I haven't lived in Chicago since 2005 or 6.
Right.
RJ, even longer. Like RJ was gone from Chicago before I ever made it to Chicago,
Right.
but spent some time there. We clearly did not flex our muscles enough to get people on board to just buy the fucking tickets. So
Right.
I'm not pointing the finger at anybody
No.
without saying that four fingers are pointed right back at RJ and I, because we're
Right.
just as responsible for it. And there's no, we're going to reschedule this and we're going to do it again and actually make it happen. But, I want to use this as an opportunity to anybody that's looking at anything, because here's an example. I just saw, and again, the bigger you get, the more different that this is. I just saw that Penn and Teller are going to have some dates on the East Coast. And after Matt and my show up in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, a friend of mine who helped coordinate and set that up, his kids were like, all right, my kids are in love with magic now. So I looked and I saw that Penn and Teller were going to be relatively close to them. And I said, hey, jump on this, because with Penn and Teller, there was a show September 22nd. There were only a smattering of tickets available here, there, and wherever. I said, get these before they're gone. Take them, because there's nobody better than Penn and Teller. But until you get to like that sort of a level,
Right.
it
Right.
doesn't
Right.
blow out. So you need to blow it out. You need to help these things succeed. And again, I'm not just saying this about my show. I'm not saying this about Elkton. I'm not saying this about whatever. I'm talking about whatever local thing that you look at and say, oh, that's really cool that they're doing it here. Support it, please.
Support it. And promote
Please.
it. Support and promote. Right.
Yeah.
Let's say you can't afford to go. You can't buy tickets. Whatever.
But you could help spread the word.
Sharing is free.
Yeah.
You know, like if you share and this podcast, that's free. Right. Let's say you can't become a subscriber. Let's say you don't have $1 a month. Right. To become a subscriber of Big Sexy Digital Nomad. Doesn't cost anything to share the podcast.
And
Tell
even if
somebody.
you do have the $1 a month and you're just skeptical about signing up for something like Patreon, we get it. We don't care. We're not going to grill you.
Understand?
We
Nah.
still love you. You're listening. Help spread the word. And
Thank
here's
you.
the thing. This
Thank
is, one, and I love that you're bringing up the sharing thing, because so I'm in Elkton, little town, equidistant between Baltimore and Philly. The magic thing, magic's not for everybody. There's probably people listening to this podcast being like, why the fuck's that guy even on it? We just want to talk about travel, and he keeps talking about hypnotizing people and magic. Okay?
Right.
It's not everybody's cup of tea. The magic thing that I'm doing started in a small community theater where they do plays and they do comedy shows and they do musicals and things like that. All categories that aren't necessarily somebody's cup of tea.
Right.
In July of this year, so 2 months ago, roughly, a big music theater opened up here in town. And by big, I mean like 200-300 people.
Big for Elton.
Live music, not everybody's cup of tea. However, when you see these types of things in an area near you, small town stuff, you should share it, even if it's not your cup of tea. If it looks like they're doing
Absolutely.
something solid, something that's great for the community, whatever, share it, because you have a sphere of influence. You may have 2 or 10 or 30 people on your timeline, whatever social media format that is, that love that thing and may only find out about that thing from you.
Because of you.
So even though you may see something like that and be like, oh, that's a novel idea, but I can't go to live music, or I hate live music, don't hesitate to share it, because somebody else might,
Somebody else might love it.
you might secretly and silently become somebody else's hero for them learning about it through you. And
Exactly.
so, yeah, that's my soapbox. I'm off it now.
I always wonder when people say they get on their soapbox, what's the brand of soap?
I don't know.
Like, I wonder whoever first got on their soapbox to talk to the crowd, what was the brand? Like when it became a colloquialism.
Yeah.
Get off your soapbox. When people get on different, because back when I'm sure soap came in, the wooden crates or whatever.
Yeah.
People sat on wooden crates so they'd have a platform, as it were. Um, and then somebody looks down, oh, he's standing on a box, a soapbox, a box that holds soap. He's gonna clean up this town. He's on a soapbox. I wonder what that brand was. If you know, write in. Let us know.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I had a very interesting week. As you
Yeah.
all know, I am now a year older. I am officially 52, and I'm going to send the biggest shout out to my lovely wife, Nella, who went above and beyond and gave me an amazing birthday. I'll tell you what, every single birthday in my 50s has been epic. Epic. I turned 50 in Disney World. I'd never been. I turned 51 on a cruise ship in the Dominican Republic. Never been. I turned 52 in Romania. Never been. Now, the best part about that was wife planned out the entire day. The entire day. We started in, we got tea with two lovely friends of mine. Shout out to Loredana and Raluca, um, who joined the tea. Uh, uh, I got a cute little gift. I gave him a cute little tea set. Loredana gave me a cute little tea set. Raluca gave me a little notebook that I'm gonna jot little notes in, and when I come up with ideas for the podcast or topic ideas or whatever, or random parody ideas, I'm gonna jot down in a little notebook. And we had a lovely tea. It's wonderful. The cute little tea shop here in Romania. That's one thing Romania does really well are tea houses. The tea houses here are phenomenal. Um, that was lovely. We hung out for a while and then we came back to the apartment really quick, dropped Fox off, and then my wife surprised me. And I didn't know where we're going at all. Never, not one time. So we get a boat and we get in a boat, not a boat, because when I say it, I'm saying a boat. But we get in a boat and we go out to a remote location outside of Bucharest, and there's this building, and the name of it is Thermi, Therme, Thermi. And it turns out Thermi is a giant wellness, health, spa, and water park.
That's a whole lot of different things that are not all
You're right. But
expected to be connected.
while the parents are getting massages and sitting in saunas and swimming in mineral pools, the kids are in the water park area playing, having a good time, and enjoying themselves. Right. So the spa day is good for everybody.
Hell yeah.
We ended up doing 5 different saunas at about 10 minutes each sauna. Dry sauna, so they're like a mint sauna, and they had like different flavored berry one, and there was a Hollywood sauna that was showing polar animal nature National Geographic documentary. Um, Amazon sauna, all these cool different saunas or whatever, different temperatures and everything. We got a mineral uh, pool, a little small mineral water pool. For health, that was amazing. We got in a warm tub. We hoped it was a hot tub. It wasn't. It was just kind of warm. I'm like, oh, okay, this is whatever. I got on the water slides because I'm a big ass kid.
Oh, hell
Um,
yeah.
Shout out, and then also on top of that, we were joined by our new friend Claudia. So shout out to Claudia. Who listeners, stay tuned. Eventually, I'm going to interview her and her fiance Mike. Have them on the podcast as well. And we spent the whole day there, and it was crazy. It was wonderful. It was absolutely fabulous. And then uh, we took a bolt from there into the city center.
So what's this
And
Bolt? Let's stop there.
Bolt is an Uber.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's just another brand of Uber.
Right, right.
Right.
New to me.
It's not. Yeah. It's not a. Yeah. It's what Uber is. Just another company like Lyft and Uber and Bolt. Um. So then we go to a bar and there's karaoke at the bar. My wife has found a bar in Bucharest that does karaoke. So I sing karaoke all night, and well, almost all night. Have a good time, drink, enjoy some pizza, uh, hang out with, and then Claudia's with us and is joined by Mike. So shout out to Mike and Chris comes later. Um, our friend Chris. So throughout the entire day, we spent time with every single one of our Romanian friends and had tea, experience at a water park, and karaoke. Loved it. Sang me some Redbone, Come and Get Your Love. Sang Frank Sinatra, Fly Me to the Moon. And then I closed it out with a little bit of Hamilton, My Shot. By that time, it was really packed and crowded. And, there's going to be like another hour and a half to 2 hours before I got to sing again. So we're like, it's already late. Let's call it a night. And of course, Nilla did Ella King, X's and O's. It was great time, man. So then Saturday, everything's going all right, everything's good. And I get up to go to the kitchen, and as I'm walking to the kitchen, my muscles decide to stop working. My muscles,
Like everything?
like I could not walk. I fell to the ground. I was shaking.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. And we were freaked out, like don't know what's going on. Sit down. I'm sitting down on the ground. Slowly things are coming back, whatever. But it was terrifying. It's very terrifying to have all your muscles stop working.
Yeah.
That is a scary experience.
I don't know that I've experienced that, and
Yeah.
I'm not mad about not
Yeah, I
experiencing.
hope you never do. Um, I don't know if anybody's ever worked out, and when you're working out, and you're working really hard, and you lift up until your muscles kind of stop working. Like
That I've experienced, but
but it
different.
felt but that's because you're lifting weights, and it felt like that without lifting any weights, without doing anything, is and all throughout the entire body. Also feel lightheaded, whatever. So we're both freaking out. I said, okay, I don't know what that was. Wife starts looking up what it might be, and she goes, "Well, it says you might be dehydrated." So I reiterate, the day before, I did at least 5 different hot saunas,
Yeah.
but I wasn't drinking water through the entire day. Right. So that
Okay.
that tracked. It wasn't my. It didn't feel like it was different than my. I've had issues where I start to get tingly when my blood sugar is either high or low. Like I know that feeling, and that wasn't
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Um. So then, uh, Sunday, everything's chill. We hang out. Don't do anything major, whatever. Um. Then Monday morning, I have another episode.
Hmm.
Um. On my way to the bathroom, I get really lightheaded and start. My legs are now are starting to give out, whatever. So I sit back down on the bed and recover, and then you know get some more water. I drink more water, and I say, okay, let me make an appointment with the endocrinologist here in Romania. So I eventually, so I said, tomorrow I'll go. I'll make an appointment to see the endocrinologist. I go down the next day. I go down to the endocrinologist to make an appointment, and I'm sitting in the office, and it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and like I got there off at about 3:20, At about 3:55, whoever was in the office comes out. And there was a lady who came in there after me, and she goes right in. Like, what? Hello? I was, okay, well, maybe, whatever. Maybe she had an appointment. I didn't have an appointment. I'm going to make an
Right.
appointment. Maybe she had an appointment. So she goes in, door closes. I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. 48 minutes later, 49 minutes later, almost an hour later, lady finally comes back out. And so I go into the office. Well, it turns out in this office space, there are multiple disciplines of medicine,
Okay.
including psychiatry, which is what this lady I was talking to specialized in. She was the psychiatrist in this office, not the endocrinologist,
Gotcha.
who wasn't there. So I waited almost 2 hours.
There's not like a front desk person to be like
No, no.
to you would think with something that's got that much going on that you've got a quarterback there that's at least, or an air traffic controller, so to speak.
Right. You would think, but there's not. Not at all. So I leave the building having realized that I had just waited all this time for nothing. And luckily I have the endocrinologist phone number, so I messaged them asking for an appointment, and then I'm on my way. I get to the train station, and I'm in. As soon as I get on the train, they message me, and by this time it's like 6. No, actually it's a little bit later. It's all like 7ish because I had stopped at the store, or whatever. Not important. It's part of the story. I get on the train. As I get on the train, they message me and say, "Hey, can you be back here at 7:30?" I'm like, "No, I am on the train headed back to my apartment. I can be there by 8. If I take the train, I'll be there by 8." And they're like, and again, I'm having to do Google Translate because again, this is all happening in Romanian.
Yeah.
And they finally say, "Okay, come at 8." And they give me the address back to where I was. Yeah, I know where it is, whatever. So I go back to
This is 8 at night.
8 at night. I thought that past 5 o'clock they were gone.
Yeah. Well, you also are used to a world in which you've got to make a decision between getting medical care and paying your rent or putting food on the table.
True.
And you're in a different world now. So.
It's completely different, and I'm very grateful and thankful for it. So I get back to the endocrinologist and go through the appointment, and again they do it.
An important note of comparison.
Yes.
What I was doing earlier about buying show tickets, that there was just a PSA. This here, I'm actually throwing shade on the American medical system, just to differentiate.
Right.
Let's be real.
Shade thrown. And she does an ultrasound consultation on my thyroid. And so all that, the checkup, the thing, says open your mouth, stick out your tongue. Yep, you're dehydrated. Yay! Glad to know that was right. It wasn't, a thyroid thing or diabetes thing or, another mini stroke or nothing like that was happening. Cool. So I come back home. That's why, hey, it's great. And all that, ultrasound, consultation, late night appointment. How much do you think I paid?
Less than $50.
About $50.
Yeah.
Yeah, about $50.
Yeah.
And then the next day, today, did this happen today? Yeah, today. Lots been happening. A lot of medical stuff. So today, my friend Luke is getting ready to head back to France, and so her mom again works at a pharmacist. I've talked about that before, and she gave me a 90-day supply. She put on a 90-day supply of medication. I also was able to get me a glucometer because I think I accidentally shipped mine back to the U.S. I couldn't find my where my but I don't know where it is, so I got a new one. So I'll be able to check my levels and make sure that's okay. Um, and I spent about $130 for a 90-day supply of all my medication.
Wild.
90-day supply of all my medication. Yeah, I'm a fan of European health system. Yeah, it's a it's a great thing.
You let's see. Looking at the date. Amazon in Romania?
No, there is no
No.
Amazon in Romania. There is an Amazon esque shipping shopping program called
Okay.
EMAG, um, in Romania that you can order things. Why?
So a suggestion, and I'm putting an asterisk beside this suggestion because this is a product that I own and consume regularly, but I can't scientifically vouch for its effectiveness. There are these hydration packets, and I'm looking at it. One that I've got is called Liquid IV.
I've heard
Um,
of those.
they're relatively inexpensive. You just take a bottle of water. Like anytime that I'm going to Vegas, there's always some of these packed for two reasons. Number one, I'm in the fucking desert. Number two, I'm usually partying and drinking, and they also serve as somewhat of a hangover cure. Um, in the States, a the packets, it looks like they run like $2 a piece roughly, and then you just put them in a bottle of water. Might be worth trying to find something like that, and just when you wake up in the morning, throw one in a glass of water and have that be the first thing that you drink of the day
I'm
and
gonna
see if
check
it
that. Yeah,
helps.
because the endocrinologist said I had to drink 4 liters, not 40, 4 liters of water a day, which is a lot. That's a lot of water.
Yeah,
Um, but I'll do it. I'll do. Well, I drink a lot of water anyway, so I can up that intake. You know. Um, yeah. So the birthday was great. The health scare was not. Everything else has been wonderful and fabulous. Today we did an escape room.
oh nice.
The escape room here in Romania. It was fucking challenging. We did not beat it. The black people did not escape, and but it was
Was it well done?
it was very interesting. It was supposedly Lord of the Rings themed, but it really wasn't. Like the theming ended at the story, and there was a bow puzzle.
Gotcha.
Everything else was like all these wooden levers and mechanisms that you had to move and maneuver to make things go and whatever. So that part was really interesting. There was not a padlock to be seen,
That's good.
which
That's a
was
plus.
wonderful. Um, the issue was there was a lot of crawl spaces and climbing, like a lot of climbing, a lot of force needed on some things, whatever. So it was a very physical room. Um, that
Just
made
the two
it
of you?
what?
Just the two of you?
No, 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 no. We went with our friends Mike and Claudia.
Just that group,
Just the
or
four of us.
and the reason that I ask, and I've asked this in the past when talking about escape rooms, full disclosure, and I've mentioned this on the pod before, I have not actually done an escape room
Which you
since the pandemic hit.
absolutely need to do.
I need to get back into them. I used to love them, used to do them all the time. One of the things that I really enjoyed, even when the times when it didn't work out so well, and there certainly were some of these, is when you could book an escape room and like the room had a capacity of 8 or 10 people. And if you would book 4 people for it, there'd still be 4 or 6 open spots. So you'd end
Right,
up in a room with random ass people. Sometimes that could work out very well. Sometimes they're just a bump on the log.
right,
Um, but I enjoyed it generally. The mixing of, hey, here's some new people. Never was there a situation in which, hey, we should connect and do more escape rooms together.
right.
Didn't need that, wasn't looking for that, but just having single serving friends, so to speak, to reference Fight Club, was an enjoyable thing. And again, even when they weren't helpful, because we've definitely like years ago. Again, all of this is years ago because I haven't done one of these since before the pandemic. Buddy of mine and I did an escape room up in the Poconos, which is like the Eastern Mountains, Pennsylvania. Um, and it was him and I and his wife, and I don't remember who I was with, if anybody. But there were like these 5 or 6 stoner kids that literally were just giggling at everything the whole time while we were doing the escape room, which was great. They didn't get in our way.
Right.
They weren't particularly helpful or useful, but it was like, hey, okay, cool. You guys who would have never gotten past the third puzzle just beat the escape room. Congratulations.
Right. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but I,
Anytime we've done an escape room with randos has not been the greatest experience. I think we've only done 2 where we didn't know everybody in the group. We tend to try, if we're going to go to a big room, we tend to bring. I know enough people that I can fill the room with.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, then you know what you're dealing with, and like everybody kind of has a role. Like when we would do rooms, we would all just kind of spread out and just start reporting what we would go to a different corner and be like, okay, there's a four number lock over here. Hey, I'm seeing this on the wall, and everybody's just shouting into the middle of the room.
Right.
That if you see something that matches with that,
Right.
hey, this is a thing. Oh, well, that sounds like the lock, and it looks like I have the key over here. Speaking in a metaphorical sense.
Right.
I've done enough of them, and with my one buddy that we've done some really bad ones, and I mean bad ones where it was like the clues didn't make any fucking sense.
I hate those.
It was difficult beyond like a difficult one that is challenging, but everything flows and makes sense and you could figure it out. We just weren't there.
Yeah.
I don't have a beef with those. I think those are great. But ones that are just like shitty,
Yeah.
and hate those.
Yeah, we done a couple shitty rooms. We did the this room today. The like difficulty of puzzles and ingenuity and stuff like that. Top marks. Top
Yeah.
marks. I'm a big fan of storyline, and there was no good story here.
Yeah.
Where the puzzles kind of flow into one another and make sense, whatever. In regard to the theme, they didn't have this. The one we did in Spain was Harry Potter themed, and everything. It was really themed out very well. The puzzles were really cool, and the theme was completely throughout the entire room, which made for a great, great escape room. Really loved it. So yeah, this one middle of the road for us. Again, we did calculate. We've done 56 rooms. We've done 55 of them together, and then we each have done one room without the other person. So yeah, but again, everywhere we go, we look to do escape rooms, and so we may do one or two more before we leave Bucharest. And then we get to Spain. Of course, we'll probably do escape rooms there because it's what we do.
Oh hell yeah!
I
wish I don't, but I do. I wish I had time to just come out for like a week or 10 days, wherever you are, and just hang out.
That'd be really awesome.
I don't care if you're crashing on the floor or a couch or whatever. Although I will say, if you guys are going to end up in Spain.
Yep.
You guys are going to end up there for an extended period of time.
Yep.
There's a possibility that I end up back there like I've been there before. Okay. So, anybody who's seen me on social media, has connected me on social media, has seen me share a Kickstarter recently about a magic documentary that is basically finished, and it involves Juan Tamariz and Spanish magicians, and it's basically they've done this whole documentary. Now they want to be able to put it out there, and there's a whole lot of film stuff that they need to get rights and everything to be able to show it to anybody, really. So they're doing a Kickstarter to get to the finish line on that. And I have connected to the guy that's putting this together and basically am behind the scenes helping with it. And one of the top things that they have on the Kickstarter, which I'm outside of Kickstarter being involved in, um, is a screening in Madrid. The date's not set, with a whole bunch of other
Oh,
shit going on. So the likelihood that through my involvement in this, assuming that they get it to the finish line and it gets funded, because you need to actually back it and make all the money to get to even get dime one on Kickstarter. Um, I may very well end up. Let me see the details of this.
man, I'm in Spain.
I may end up in Spain, and if I'm going to be in Spain, then
Oops.
I might as well make my way to lovely places that I've heard wonderful things about and have friends
You
that are
should
local.
definitely make your way from Madrid to Malaga is actually I hear is a decent trip. Um, actually, one of the interviews you're going to hear from Macarena um, in 2 weeks as of this recording um, was in Madrid. She's the comedian that I
Yeah,
spoke
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Um, uh, she is back in Malaga now, or I don't know if she made it to Madrid or not, but she was going to be in Madrid and did Madrid for a while, and apparently it's not too hard to get there. But yeah, I'd say, look, if you're in Spain, if you can get around, you can go see places, whatever. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be amazing to have you.
I'm here looking at maps again because again, I learned Spanish in high school, and it's been that long since I've looked at a map of Spain. Again, as part of it, you learn the geography, and it means absolutely nothing to you at the time.
Zero.
But yeah, Madrid looks like it's in the middle. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, it's enjoyable. And we're in Malaga. We're all the way south. We're right across from
Morocco,
Africa. Yeah, right across from Morocco.
sweet, sweet.
Yeah. Well, I thought we could end this not in this episode, but a segment of this episode. So as I was mentioning before we talked, I was listening to uh,
Hey,
Hey,
buddy, nice.
buddy, nice podcast.
Yeah,
yeah, listen to Hey Buddy Nice podcast.
man, I am slow on the take today. Knew what you
And
were going to say and didn't. Look, you take that soundboard away from me. Now it's on your side, and I'm totally wiped clean. Like,
yeah,
my mind is wired differently now.
I believe me, I get it. I understand. So I was listening to their podcast, and they did this little cute segment, the one episode I listened to, where they asked each other questions, and they kind of quizzed each other to see how well they know each other. They became really good friends when they met at Scoop Fest. Eventually, started a podcast together, um, and then did a fun like how well do we know each other. Now they have the advantages of like hanging out the entire time they're in Vegas for weeks on end.
And they've done this now twice because
They've done this
refreshed
twice, right?
segments. Yeah,
And they really did spend time getting to know one another and talking, and started the podcast, and they're on, they're high up there in the episode title. So I thought it'd be fun if we did a little getting to know us questionnaire. I went on the Googles, and I typed in 20 questions to get to know somebody or whatever, and then everything that I saw would give me 100 questions, and I said, I'm not editing that down. Don't give me 100 questions. I don't want to have to go through them because I know me. My brain is going to see 100 fucking questions and want to go through each of them and try to pick out the top 10.
hey, we could do that over time if our listeners want to send us questions like this, and we could do them a chunk at a time.
Agreed. I like that idea. So
We can start with what you have for now.
I did save those articles, so I may pull those up, and we may have to do a get to know. So I think instead of quizzing each other, because this iteration, since it's the very first time we're ever doing anything like that, I will ask the question. Normally, I would have this on a computer somewhere and share it with you, but I don't know how to do that on this thing yet. So, and I got it on my phone. So, listeners, there's So you can see the
I Oh, there we go.
questions.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
All right. So let's start. Okay. So if you could live anywhere, where would it be?
Um, for me, am I required to move?
Uh, do you mean like move your body to get
No, no,
around,
no, no.
or move all your shit to a new
Is,
location?
is where I am not an acceptable answer? Because I'm
No,
fairly content where I am.
wherever you are. Again, the question is if you could live anywhere, where would it be?
Yeah,
If your answer is Elkton, Maryland, done.
I, I've set up a nice little spot, a nice little situation for myself here. About a year ago, well, if you count the closing, not when we moved in, a little over a year ago, we
Right.
bought the forever home. I couldn't imagine with all of the money in the world doing anything other than adding on to it versus moving. Like it's in a great location,
Right.
close enough to everything, but it's not, I don't have people on top of me. We've got plenty of land, but only some of it we have to maintain because it's wooded around it. And basically almost no neighbors. So, we've renovated and finished the basement. We did some hardscaping work on the outside.
Mm,
I've got my little parlor theater. Insulation is starting on that soon. So after insulation is drywall, and then we're basically at the make it look pretty, it's ready to roll stage.
mm.
Uh,
So your answer is Elkton, Maryland.
Probably, yeah. If I had to leave here, um, it would be a place where it would have to be a hub for me to performance stuff.
Will it still
So
be in the U.S.?
it as of right now, if I'm having to make a decision knowing all of the elements, probably it would probably be something like Vegas because you know there's a lot of access to entertainment, a lot of access to people, and also since everybody visits Vegas, it makes Vegas a fantastic travel hub
Mm-hmm.
to leave. You can go almost anywhere from Vegas,
Right.
almost always a direct flight, depending on the airline. Plus, there's no state income tax, which is also a plus.
Right. Right.
Um,
Uh, my answer is Malaga.
yeah.
Malaga, Spain. I didn't. I before I started this journey, I didn't know anything about it. Now I can't get enough of it. Like I'm dreaming about it. Like me and the wife have taken to waking up and going. So, what do you miss about Spain today? Um, yeah, and it's tough because when you want to live place, you want to live where you feel like home, right? You know, what feels like home. Um, if money is no object, right, still like Malaga, Spain, really, it just felt great to be there, you know, and that was just really quick and easy, and that might change, but right now, and that's in Malaga. All right, um, what is your biggest fear? I'll go first on this one.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is that nobody's gonna like me. Yeah, it's not true. It will never be true. But my biggest fear is that one day I'm gonna wake up and everybody just cannot stand me, doesn't want to be around me, doesn't want to talk to me, um, and then nobody likes me. There's like the actor in me. But yeah, that kind of instability of people that scares the shit out of me. What about you, sir?
I can legitimately say that this is something that I never think about.
When people don't really think about what fears the most unless they're like terrified all the time.
Do. Some people always have something, hanging over them or that they're worried
Yeah.
about. I guess if it would have to probably be that something bad would happen to, like my kids or a member of my family.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you being a father, that kind of tosses in the.
Because I mean, otherwise, I've built myself pretty much into a bubble to the point where I'm not particularly worried about anything. Like I've kind of insulated myself, going back to the whole house thing and not having neighbors and building this kind of, little world and bubble there. Um, you know, that might be it. I mean, because I don't really
Yeah.
have any other,
You're
I
not
don't
scared of
fear
snakes or spiders or nothing like that, right?
heights or, I never have these thoughts that like the plane that I'm on is going to take a nosedive or any shit like that.
Yeah. And
Um,
honestly, like that kind of stuff doesn't scare me. Like,
yeah.
you know, death from things out of my control. I'm not scared at all of that. Why? Because it's not out of my control. You know. Um, yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's just do a couple more of these. What did you want to be when you were younger? When you were
Um,
a kid?
there was a time in which I thought I wanted to be an astronaut, which I think is par for the course for many young people.
Yeah. I never did.
Um, it was suggested to me, the earliest that I can remember that it was suggested to me, and it rang a tune, was in eighth grade. Somebody told me that I should be an attorney. So I just jumped aboard that and did that. um,
Yeah, but you weren't a kid then, were you?
I mean, eighth grade is what? Like 13, 14,
13. So I mean when you were like,
like a
elementary
little
school,
kid.
yeah.
Yeah, probably an astronaut at that age. At the younger
Yeah.
age, I
At
was definitely
13 you're starting to actually think about what you want to do and start making your way to doing it.
certainly not logically as somebody who has a soon to be 12 and 16-year-old, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, I so very distinctly I remember wanting to be, and all this at the same time, an actor, a professional wrestler, and a helicopter pilot.
Okay.
And I had dreams that I would uh, be on set at a movie, fly myself from my movie set to where I had to wrestle that night, wrestle, and then fly myself in my private helicopter back to the movie set. And that would be my life.
There you go.
Between wrestling and having a movie career, in between that, I would fly helicopters. Yeah, I wanted to be those three things distinctly. I love the helicopters, still do. I've only been in one, I think. Of course, I'm an actor, so 1 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah.
And I did a little wrestling when I was younger, but nothing major. You know, uh, I love the showman of it. The showman, because I grew up in the WWF before it came to WWE.
Same. Who was your
So yeah.
favorite?
Oh, um, Undertaker.
Okay. Classic.
Yeah.
I was a big
But
Shawn Michaels fan.
Shawn
I don't know.
Michaels.
Yeah, the Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah. I love Bret Hart. I love the Hart Foundation. Um. Oh.
I actually bought the pay per view for, what do they call it? The Iron Man match, the Bret
Uh-huh.
Hart, Shawn Michaels. It
Yeah.
was supposed to be like an hour long or whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah, I
It
remember
was it was
watching.
who it was whoever could get the most number of pins in 60 minutes.
Yeah, that's
So
what it
yeah,
was.
so a pin didn't end the match. You just get as many as you can.
And then ended up being one of them in overtime.
Yeah,
Controversial, as you do in the
as you do
WWE.
in WWE, right? I also love Andre the Giant was also one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, Andre the Giant because he was massive, and yeah, um,
And
yeah.
I maintained myself as a big fan of the Macho Man. Just the character of him.
The character was insane. Oh, Nature Boy Ric Flair, and I was a big fan of Junkyard Dog. Yeah, yeah. I had a few guys like. All right, we'll do one more. One more. All right. Let's see. Okay, if you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, that's tough
Right?
because everything would get old after a while. I would say that one of my go-tos, one of my favorites, one of the reasons that I like staying at New York when I'm in Vegas
Mm-hmm.
is that the deli there that has this ridiculously great brisket. So maybe if I say brisket, technically that opens me up to corned beef and pastrami as well.
Sure, it sure does.
So at least there's some variety there. Um, I'll go with that.
I'm a cheater.
Okay. Well, you go pizza so that you can put all sorts of different types of pizza together.
Nope, I thought about that, but I don't like a whole lot of stuff, and some of the stuff I want going on pizza. No, I'm worse. I'm even worse cheater than that. If I can only one meal, it's the buffet at the Rio.
Oh, there you go. You're going to be hungry for a while because they shut that bad boy down. But
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Or the M. I eat the buffet at the M. The early dinner buffet.
I will tell you, I had the brunch buffet at the Bellagio when I was out there for Magic Live.
Uh, yeah, I can't do brunch buffets. Well, you know what? The big thing is I don't like a whole lot of egg products.
I don't eat eggs at all.
Right. So
But
I don't eat egg either. But like I don't like brunch is always tough for me because
they had a
it's
brisket. They had a brisket on it. It was great.
yeah.
But they had Dole Whip, like legit fucking Dole Whip.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That'd be
Circling back
amazing.
to your Disney trip, I am going to say this quietly enough, but I am in the process over New Year of booking a Disney cruise. I don't want anybody that's not in this room to hear this,
Ooh.
and certainly the kids don't listen to the pod, but I'm
Right.
keeping it from the wife as well. Uh, yeah, probably out of Lauderdale.
Okay.
We'll do Castaway K 2 days
You
on that
you
road
you know
trip.
you know I'm gonna tell you right now. Go to cruisehabit.com. I'm gonna shout my boy out Billy. They did tons of research on Disney Cruise. They give you all the kind of tips and tricks and stuff.
Oh hell yeah! You know damn
Definitely
well I will.
check those resources out. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. I would we'll have to do that again. I'll have
But it'd
to.
be lovely to get those types of questions from the listeners, see what they want to know about us.
That'd be
Because
great. Yeah, listeners, if you have any inquiries as to about us, or you want to know if you have a list of, we have the thing about wrong answers only. But if you actually just want to know about us, well, what do you want to know about us? What questions do you have for us? What kind of get to
we'll
know
get
you
the right answers
questions?
out of this there. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll actually answer those. If you give us a list of questions and you don't put the words "wrong answers only" in the subject line, we'll answer whatever you send us honestly and accurately. So if you have a list of questions, yeah, send those in. Let us know what you want to know about us. We love to
do
hear
them
it.
3 or less at a time. Because I think that little clip, three questions, was a good little
It was
jaunt.
not bad. Yeah, yeah.
I'm not telling you to not send it to us 3 different times. Just group your questions, 3 at a time in a batch.
Yeah.
That way, it's a nice little digestible nugget for the pod. If we do another one the next week, I don't care if the same person writes us 3 questions every week for a month. We'll do them.
We'll
Let's
do
do
it.
it.
We'll do it. Yeah. In the meantime, you guys can always gotta make sure we got so much stuff to plug. Oh, that's what else happened this week. Listeners, you now have access to this podcast on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. You can go to our YouTube channel, just search for Big Sexy Digital Nomad and subscribe. And you can listen to the podcast on YouTube if that's how you get your podcast. I've had enough people ask, and they said, "Man, is your podcast on YouTube?" Now I can say yes. Go search a Big Sexy Digital Nomad on YouTube. Check us out, and then share the link. And there you can share, like, and subscribe. I love being able to say that, so go do that. And then if you really like Big Sexy Digital Nomad, and you're like, "Oh, I want to let people know how much I love this podcast because these guys are really funny and cool and they talk about some cool stuff and they do cool things, you can go to our merch store. You can
Yes.
go to our merch store, which is Where Is Big Sexy? That's WEAR. Whereisbigsexy.com. It'll take you directly to our merch store. You can get some really cool Who is Big Sexy? I'm sorry, Big Sexy Digital Nomad themed shirts and gear, whatever. Then you support the podcast and that. If you want to support us directly, you can go to bullwithabutthole.com. Subscribe to the Patreon. And guys, so I've been having a lot of fun creating the interview videos for the Patreon. I don't know if you've been over there, take a look at that. They're basically it's the recording of the interview, but I have fun. I asked all the people to send me pictures of their vacations and things. I pulled things from the Instagram, and I made a nice little slideshow of all these images while their interview plays. So, but you only get that if you go to Patreon and sign up at bullwithabutthole.com. And join the Patreon. The good news is it only costs $1 a month. So it's only $12 a year to see some really cool videos. And then on top of that, not just those, not just interview videos, you also get to see Judge Mentalist performing shows.
Yeah. And there should be a new video dropping soon. I just have to figure out. So my situation with those is a little different than it was because we invested in a nicer camera, and I don't trust myself with that level of technology. So my partner always takes it after the show and then processes it. So I don't have the ability to just throw it out there immediately.
Right.
But you're getting it before anybody else does because
once you get it, then
generally don't get shared with the public.
Right. Yeah. Once Judge Mentalist gets it, y'all get it. And the only way you get it is if you join the Patreon. Right now, it's a steal at $1 a month. Join, get access to all that kind of stuff. You'll be very happy that you did. We appreciate you guys listening, and then also share this podcast with people.
Yeah,
tell people about Big Sexy Digital Nomad. Write us in. Write in at bigsexynomad@gmail.com. Send us questions. Send us wrong answers only questions. Send us parody song ideas. Talk to us. Chat with us. If you have an idea which way you like to see the podcast go, if there are topics you want to discuss, if there are travel questions you have, if you want to know about certain things, let us know. We'll address it live here on the podcast. And if you want credit for it, we'll shout out your name. We'll tell you about it. If you don't want credit for it, just say don't tell people who I am, and we won't do it. Speaking of credit, I believe we have some folks to thank.
Yeah.
And we got to get some thank you music. I don't know what we're going to use for that.
I don't think we have any yet.
Nope. I have to do something like this. Oh, wait, no. We had this. That's our transition music. Transitioning into Patreons.
Yeah.
Do you have another? Do you have that list pulled up?
I do.
All right. Shout them out.
All right. So these people are buying tickets way early so that the show doesn't get canceled. In fact, if all these people happen to have been in that area, which I know that they're not, those shows would probably have happened yesterday and tomorrow. We got Angel, Bree, Chris Lowry, who I know is currently on a cruise ship at the time of this recording, not necessarily the time it drops, Michael McKenna, Lee Popsicle, Sebastian Robbins, all the way from down under, and Joshua Tarr, who used to be a Marylander and is now in Arizona.
Nice. Guys, thank you very much. You too, again, can support us at bullwithabutthole.com. We appreciate every single one of you. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed yourself, and we will talk to you all again soon.
Hell yeah.
Safe travel.
Safe.